Okay, so we're doing some more Blackout stuff today. Hopefully it's not too scary.
Right? Remy's favorite. And you should be afraid. I'm a little afraid. So, all right, we'll start with an email. So it says, hello, guys. I recently started my blackout on my right lower leg. My blackout is covering up 4 large tats. Do we still say tats?
Some people do.
Okay. The first picture of the front of my leg was done by an artist who I thought knew what he was doing. He used Fusion Black ink with a 45 mag needle.
I haven't heard anything good about Fusion Black.
and ouch. His pattern was up and down and said we would have to do a few passes to get it solid and saturated going across. I did not like the sound of this. I thought it would be too much. This took him 5 hours. This picture is now 1 month old since I got tatted. Oh, man. We need a new word, guys. The second picture of my black leg was done by a different artist. He used a 49 mag needle.
Yeah.
49 mag that time with dynamic triple black ink.
49 mag's pretty good. Terry's been using one.
And dynamic sounds a little more like what I commonly hear
bog
being
standard.
used. I already like this much better. I'm guessing this may not need another passover and just some touch-ups. Always do another passover.
Yeah, I don't know what your expectation was there, but in even almost any of the best circumstances, you would need a second pass. So
right. He also says this took him almost 5 hours. The reason why I chose him, even though he never did a blackout is because he had really good color packing. That's a good call on your part.
Yeah.
I remember Remy saying, if possible, if someone had good color packing, then they could probably do a good blackout. I'm scheduled with him next month to go over the front of my leg again to make everything match. We also will be going a little lower and a little higher with the blackout. This is only 2 days old since I got tatted. Please let me know what you think.
So this is the good side, apparently. This is you can see some trauma here. Really, like in the middle of that, there's some trauma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's these like like when your skin starts looking a little bit like hamburger.
It's like especially because this is like this would be typical on my hand, for example, but like not so much on a leg.
Yeah, it's just that and it's really pocked looking, and I bet you it was weeping like crazy.
Anyway, he was pretty happy with that result.
Yeah.
And I can see there's going to be some lines there anyway, even if this healed perfectly.
Yeah, smaller lines.
That was what the first blackout looked like. This is where you can see a difference in mag techniques.
Oh yeah, this first one, it's so streaky. Holy shit.
And this is what happens if you don't blend things.
And it also looks like the artist it was not able to push fully equally on the full mag, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so one side of the stroke is darker, so they're getting it in right on one side and the other side's too light. Does that make sense?
That's pretty common if you're using a big mag and you don't know your depths really well. So like, for example, if you're using a smaller mag, you're not likely to have the same result. A big mag doesn't really pack it as densely as a smaller mag does.
Yeah.
So if you're using these big fucking lawnmower mags, you got to really know how to saturate.
Right.
But like this is bad mag technique for like big areas of black. And this is these are all, by the way, all of what you're going to see here are these should be cautionary tales of like, oh, blackout's not as easy as some people think it is.
Yeah, you guys.
Because this is not a good result either.
I have black round on my sleeve. I've never gotten an infection. We've gone pretty damn slow because I think that's what you want to do when you're covering that much space. But man, oh man,
well, especially
does it
if you're not doing it every day.
I have a pretty high pain tolerance. Remy thinks not, but
well, less these days, I think. So
we got an update. From this fellow. He says, "Update: my tattoo
so this
got
is before
infected."
we could react, and then we react to blackouts pretty quick.
Oh right, yeah. So this happened really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So he says, my tattoo got infected. I went to the sock I guess he means doc, and got put on
sure.
some antibiotics. It's infected where I thought he overworked the skin, but didn't think anything about it. You can see if you look closely in the photo I sent previously at the back of my leg,
before we even read that.
where the skin looks a beat up. Yeah, you were hamburgered for sure.
He was a little overworked. He wasn't like fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
But
it's so hard to find someone that can do this type of thing. Now I'm just focusing on healing. Thanks. So let's have a look. Oh, man. Yeah.
so yeah, this is, at least it didn't get that deep.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, probably only a little bit of this got overworked, but the minute this stuff starts happening, it spreads really quick, especially if you've been moisturizing it. It's just like, it's almost like you're spreading the disease, And
I think that's like a big thing that we've kind of learned through Remy's tattoo process is that healing is important. And I think it's like a really like a personal thing for people, but I always have dry healed my tattoos. Always. It works really good for me. I have really sensitive
Saniderm lately.
Pardon? Yeah, I've been liking that for my blackout. I've been liking the Saniderm.
Yeah.
I'm always...
Which is odd because... No, like, seriously, that's odd.
I know.
Because Saniderm doesn't really stay in full saturation usually very well.
But I don't have a lot of... I mean, there's a lot of pieces to this sleeve, so it's able to stick. But... train of thought. I was going to say, but... I think what we really discovered is that you need to dry heal blackout.
Well, for the most part, and just for the first few days is what I recommend, just until the weeping stops. It's not even so much like you have to dry heal things. What it is like, if it's weeping, like, you gotta let it seal up. Like, that's very important. So if you see, like, if you see you get out of the shower and your tattoo's, like, kind of, it's got some spots where there's, like, wetness and shit.
Yeah, like when it's, like, oozing that clear plasma.
Yeah, you need to dry those things out. That being said, I don't think that this was all on him. He didn't get infected the first time, and the first guy did a worse job. So it's like...
No, this is definitely overwork.
Yeah.
But...
So, yeah, it is really hard to find an artist that can do this stuff, but you haven't found him, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, this guy kind of massacred the back of your leg. I'm really curious to see how bad this scarred.
Well, it'll be a minute before we can tell.
Remy's got some pretty good scars on his feet.
Yeah, on my left foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty nasty.
And if I gave a shit, I would touch it up, but generally speaking, I don't really care that much. But yeah, I had them on my right hand too, and I obviously interact with that more often, so it was a bigger deal.
And I'm sure some of you guys are thinking, like, who gives a shit? It's just, like, heal it and then go back into it. But the thing is the artist that does this next is going to have a really hard time going over these scars.
But it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's just going to hurt a lot more, and you have to leave it alone for quite a while.
Yeah, give it a rest.
This one could have been a hell of a lot worse. We've definitely seen a lot worse. This doesn't look like staph or flesh-eating virus, so it's not as bad as I've seen.
Yeah, we should have taken pictures of the like 1 or 2 times that Remy got infections. They were freaking nasty looking, guys. Like, this is nothing.
Yeah, no, but I've shown off worse than that on here too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So this is pretty mild, but it is a cautionary note that for the guy who thinks blackout is easy, it's not so easy, and you should probably focus a little.
And definitely a good call on getting antibiotics. Actually, I think that's a really funny story. The one time that you got your the infection, when you went to the doctor, and the doctor, she was like a young doctor.
Yeah.
And she like poked your foot, looked at it, shrugged.
It was very clearly infected.
Yeah, and then she goes, "Well, do you think it's infected?" And Remy goes, "Well, yeah." And she goes, "Okay, well, I'm gonna give you antibiotics." Like, she had like, it's not that she was clueless, but it was just kind of like she'd never seen an infected tattooed foot.
Well, a lot of people.
I don't know.
Well, and it's blackout, so it's like it's hard to see the redness.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Yeah, it was very obviously infected. So, yeah, I'll hope this heals up better than it looks. I mean, I kind of know what I'm looking at. It's gonna have like a long stretch of like faded black, but I think there's going to be black there. I don't think this went that deep, but we'll see. It's going to definitely need a touch up, and you should always bank on doing 2 passes. Anyone tells you 1 pass blackout, especially if they're not like a Hood or a Walker, and even those guys don't guarantee it, you should be very, very careful if you hear someone tell you that.
Yeah, and like I also
Because it's
think
bullshit.
Be careful with your, like, I mean, some artists are really good at color saturating, but if they don't post healed pictures of their work on their page, I would just be a little worried, because lots of guys, they do overwork the skin, we've noticed, and if they're not posting healed shots, you don't know. All you know is you see this really wonderfully covered sticker tattoo.
Everybody likes that fresh blackout look.
So,